British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning. I'm your host, Selena Teixeira, and here's your latest headlines for the morning. Pollution is a problem all over the world, but it plagues the seawater on the shores of Vancouver. While Vancouver's False Creek is an ideal location for boating and paddling, the water hasn't been safe enough to swim in for years. Regional staff are checking for pH levels and E. coli. The water doesn't seem like it will ever be a likely place for residents and visitors to swim in. BC Finance Minister Brenda Bailey says there is some back-channel work going on around the escalating dispute between the government and striking public sector workers. Bailey's comments come as a member of the BC General Employees Union put up pickets in front of more than 24 liquor stores this week. Ian Tostenson, the head of BC's Restaurant and Food Services Association, says his members are being used as pawns in the dispute, and they expect to see supply shortages by the end of the week. The union has been escalating its job action over the last 4 weeks. A researcher at one of Canada's premier vaccine centers says U.S. funding cuts to vaccine research will likely pose a problem for the global fight against diseases. Angela Rasmussen, a virologist at the Vaccine and Infectious Disease Organization in Saskatoon, says the decision by U.S. President Donald Trump's administration to reduce grant funding by billions of dollars is driven by disinformation.
Disinformation about vaccines has dramatically harmed vaccine research as well as vaccine access and uptake in the United States, and that's only going to get worse. So we have a real opportunity here in Canada to step into that role, to fill that gap, to fill some of those needs, and to really take over and show leadership in terms of saving lives.
RCMP say 2 people are dead after a house fire north of Calgary. Police and fire crews responded to the blaze Wednesday morning in the hamlet of Torrington. Mounties say the bodies were found after it was safe to enter the home. The pair are believed to be a 57-year-old man and a 38-year-old woman who lived there. Autopsies are scheduled to take place in Calgary, and police say they don't believe the fire is suspicious, but an investigation is ongoing. Prime Minister Mark Carney is traveling to London this afternoon for meetings with leaders of the United Kingdom, Australia, Iceland, Spain, and Denmark tomorrow. This will be Carney's second official visit to the UK since becoming Prime Minister and his third one-on-one meeting with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Carney has been stressing the need to build stronger international ties as his government looks to reduce Canada's reliance on the US for trade. Carney's also attending the Global Progress Action Summit tomorrow, an annual gathering of the center-left political and business leaders. The Prime Minister spoke at the conference when it was held in Montreal last year. The Conservatives have criticized the frequency of Carney's international trips and have accused him of delivering photo ops instead of concrete results. On to international news. Starbucks said Thursday it's closing hundreds of U.S. and Canadian stores and laying off over 900 non-retail employees so it can focus on resources in its turnaround plan. The Seattle coffee giant wouldn't say exactly how many stores are closing, but the company expects to end its fiscal year this Sunday with 434 fewer stores than it had at the end of June. Starbucks CEO Brian Niccol said in a letter Thursday that the company is closing stores that don't have the path to financial stability or have physical spaces that meet customers' expectations. Starbucks says employees will be offered transfers to other locations if possible. Speaking to world leaders at the UN General Assembly through a translator, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas says Hamas will not be involved in a post-war government.
Hamas will not have a role to play in governance. Hamas and other factions will have to hand over their weapons to the Palestinian National Authority.
A small group of committed students in New York, the New York University School of Law, has become the first law school in the country to have a Hindu affinity group. The group officially started last spring after taking some time to gain traction and the necessary 50 approval signatures. The law school's notorious stress takes a toll on even the most determined students, but as Roshni Yaardi, co-chair of the new Hindu Law Student Association, said, many parts of Hinduism are so well suited to be able to handle such high-stress professions. Those were your latest headlines for the morning. I'm your host, Selena Teixeira, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
It's your career, your vision, your goal. Navigate it your way. Flexible learning is designed for you. Learn a new skill or earn a degree at your own pace. BCIT, flexible learning for a complex world.